In communities across San Diego, senior citizens continue to play an important role in the lives of families and neighborhoods. However, many seniors face challenges such as isolation, limited mobility, and difficulty staying socially connected. As people age, support systems become increasingly important for maintaining both physical and mental well-being in the senior citizens. Community programs, nonprofits, and local organizations help seniors remain active, independent, and connected to others. Several organizations in San Diego work to support senior citizens.
First 5 years we came up here, I wasn't really sure whether I'd like it first, because with having so many kids and grandkids, I was used to, I didn't know whether it'd be too quiet or I'm not seeing kids around, but I actually found it was a benefit, because I think in most young people, when they're growing up, they've got so much going on with the schools, you don't really get to see your neighbourhood neighbours or what's going on. You don't have time to do that because you're too busy with your children. But I think moving to a senior community for people like 55 and over is a good benefit, because people have got more time and it's quiet, but if your neighbours have got time for you, if everybody's interested in what you've got to offer in the community, if there's any events going on, they're like, do you think you've got time, because most people here are retired, so you'll get more involved in what's going on. There's plenty to do. Most communities, I think, if they just converse sometimes, because some people go in behind them doors and their kids might be living in another state. But I think if you stop them and say, hey, what's going on today? What have you been doing? They're so glad, and I think other communities could take a page from a senior community and show that once you go in, you don't have to stay in and not know that who your neighbour is next door. Sometimes, they might want a ride to the doctors or something like that, and they can't rely on the friends. I mean, the family if they're not here. But at least with the community, they'll have some type of transport to get them there. But I think in general, communication's the best thing.
Okay, well, thank you, Nan. Through transportation, meal delivery, healthcare systems, and social programs. Groups such as Serving Seniors, Meals on Wheels San Diego County, and Elder Help of San Diego improve the daily lives of older adults throughout the community. In addition to nonprofits, local businesses and families also play an important role in supporting seniors, such as my dad's business. Through interviews conducted for this documentary, seniors shared how staying connected with family, community members, and support programs has positively impacted their lives.
So, Tony Wilson, CEO and co-founder of Momentra. So Momentra is on a mission to solve social isolation for older adults and enrich their lives. Well, a co-founder of mine has been in healthcare for 3 decades, and we knew that the plight of older adults was something that needed to be addressed. Plus, it's a growing market size. There's 65 plus million older adults in this country. About 12,500 people turn 65 every single day. And one of the biggest issues is that the family members of these older adults are also very busy, right? So the average family member of an older adult is 46 years old and has 2 children, right? So they're also very busy, which means to also take care of their parents is something that they don't have a lot of time for. And some families just don't want to, but most of them want to, but just don't have the time, the resources, or the money to do it. Loneliness is number one, right? Because they have families, again, that are way too busy. They get socially disconnected. When they're socially disconnected, the more time that they're socially disconnected, the more they're afraid to get back into society. right? So when you're alone, are you taking so it impacts many things being socially isolated, right? They get depressed. Depression leads to early onset dementia. It leads to Alzheimer's, okay? It leads to falls, right? People, if you're over the age of 18, you have a fall, you're likely going to die within 5 years, right? So all of these things, though, usually start with somebody being socially isolated, right? So the biggest challenge that older adults face, whether they admit it or not, because most of the time they will not admit it, but it is social isolation.
Supporting seniors is also an important civic issue. Government programs, community involvement, and volunteer efforts all contribute to creating stronger support systems for aging populations. By continuing to invest in connection, healthcare, and community support, San Diego can help ensure that senior citizens live healthier, safer, and more fulfilling lives. Thank you.